Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm Mike Stansbury. Thanks for joining us today. My special guest from California, Mr. Murilo Peres. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Michael. How are you?
Oh, awesome. Murilo, first got to pay the bills. Got to talk about Investor Fuel. At Investor Fuel, folks, we help real estate investors, service providers, and real estate entrepreneurs 2 to 5x their businesses to allow them to build the businesses they've always wanted and allow them to live the lives they've always dreamed of. Murilo, first question is how did you get started in real estate? So tell me, when did you get on the yellow brick road of real estate investing? What were you doing before that, and then what changed you to move in this direction?
Well, Michael, basically, I moved to the United States in 2002. When I moved here, I was 24 years old, didn't speak English, came here in November of 2002 with pretty much all I knew is Southern California, by the beach, is where I had to be. So then for years, I worked as a personal trainer because that's my actual bachelor's degree and my specialty. But then in 2005, the opportunity to work for FedEx, another nice place from Memphis.
Right.
But I started working as a driver for FedEx. And in 2000, in about August, September of 2007, a friend of mine, also driver, he came to me and he said, "Hey, man, I got to talk to you. I bought these properties. They are like in Mississippi, but you won't believe me. I just bought a couple. I'm in the beginning of the process. I want to talk to you about it." I said, "Man, I don't know nothing about real estate. Absolutely zero. 5 years ago, I didn't even speak English, so I literally had no clue about investing in real estate." But then he told me, you know what? Let me just get a little bit further, and then we're going to go to dinner. I said, okay. So about a month later, he comes back and he goes, "Okay, let's go to dinner. I got to tell you, man, I closed on the first 2. You will not believe me." I said, okay. Then he took me to dinner and he explained what happened. So basically at the time, 2007, I know you remember that, he had this turnkey sellers in Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, and he was able to connect with them. He was buying these properties that were already turnkey and rented or about to be rented for about 50 grand using hard money, which was also connected. So it was a whole turnkey setup. So the hard money guy would come, fund the purchase. He would literally immediately, the day after, take it to Countrywide at the time. Wasn't even Bank of America yet, was Countrywide. And then you would start that refi. It would appraise for about 80. Then you take the 80% LTV, cash out, put about 14 grand in your pocket, don't spend a dime, and you end up with a rental property. And I was like, whoa, did I understand that? He said, yeah, that's what I just did twice. And I said, okay.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
I gotta go to Mississippi. I gotta check this out. So here I am, a few weeks later, I get on a plane, go to Mississippi, meet the guys, meet the operation, and I'm like, wow, this is interesting. Of course, Mississippi, very different than Southern California, but still, for no money out of pocket, in that scenario where basically I was getting paid to buy a rental property, plus cash flow, it seemed kind of crazy not to do it. So then I went and I started doing it. Long story short, from end of 07 until September of 08, I bought 11 properties that way. I was just rock and rolling. Countrywide told me, man, buy 2 or 3 at a time, buy 4 at a time. We don't care. The bubble was just about to burst. I was part of it. I was part of the problem, apparently, because they were like, dude, you make 50 grand, you're a FedEx driver, no problem. Go and buy it. You have a pulse? Okay, go buy properties. So I did. But then September 2008 came. Fannie Mae had their secret meeting at midnight, and they said, whoa, we got to stop the bleeding. People can no longer do more than 10 properties per Social Security or EIN numbers or whatever it is. And at the time, I had 11 with 2 more in escrow. So he basically called me and said, hey, I got some bad news. I was like, what? I can't finish your 2 refis right now. And I said, what does that mean? He said, that means I cannot do it because you have 11. I know, I did them all. So we're going to have to do something about it. So I called the hard money guy and things went downhill. And I told him, I say, hey, I cannot just pay cash for this. So how about this? I got guys that I'm talking to and I'll just pass that to them and they refi because they don't have 10. And they're like, great. We had a relationship at the time. And so basically that was it. That was the very beginning. And from that moment I had to pivot. Found myself on this crossroad that like, okay, what do I do? Go back to FedEx and deliver boxes after this crazy 12 months of real estate that just completely changed my life? Or do I figure out how to keep moving? That's when I talked to both of these guys. At the time, actually, I kind of jumped the story a little too far. In May or June of 2008, I heard about Memphis while in Jackson, Mississippi. One of the guys from there knew a guy from Memphis, which is still a big player there. I know you heard of him. His name is Hewlett Gregory. He's still a big player.
Still a big player, yep.
I know Hewlett from May or June of 2008. And he was the first guy that I connected with. So basically what we did was I was like, well, I bought some properties from him, but then once I couldn't do it anymore, I basically became a middleman. Because at the time, 2008, you had way more properties than people interested in buying properties, right? Everybody was scared to death. So I was able to now sit down with people and tell them what I just did, what happened to me, and I was bringing buyers to a reality that was not that easy. Even though it sounded great, there was a lot of people still very, very skeptical. So it took a lot of effort, but I became this middleman. I was literally sitting down with all these people that I personally knew, and I was explaining to them the same way that my buddy did to me, I was doing to them. Now, from 2008, which is that October 2008, till beginning of 2012, I was this middleman that I grabbed people by the hand, mentored them the whole entire process of from that sit down to the moment they had a loan, a mortgage loan to pay, and a property management to deal with. So they received their rent and they pay their mortgage. And then I would let them their hand go, and they would do their thing, but they always came back, wanted more houses, more houses, more houses. So by 2012, I'm not going to lie, I got pretty sick of it. Because for those almost 3.5 years, man, I was just babysitting people nonstop. It wasn't like today, social media, automation, AI. It was all you. It was phone calls, emails. Yes, exactly. It was different times, but it was great. It was very great. I was the middleman of almost 200 properties with Hewlett and other guys in town as well in Memphis. And after that, man, I got kind of really like fed up and just couldn't do it anymore. And I saw the market trending up. You know, that spring of 2012 market was officially.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
Going up a little bit, we're out of the hole, and I decided to start doing fix and flipping. You know, I made a decent amount of money with this, let's call it, mentoring. And then I started doing my own thing. From 2012 until today, I've done 97 fix and flips in town. And from 2018 until now, I bought almost 120 tax deeds and built a large portfolio of rental properties. And now I'm also doing the new construction on, I already have 50 plus vacant lots in the city. 2025 construction is booming, so we're going down that route as well.
Okay, so we mentioned tax deeds. I'd like to get on that off ramp real quick. So tell me about the story of how did you get involved in tax deeds, and then what are your processes for that today?
Well, everything started back in I think it was actually 17. I was doing a fix and flip in Cooper Young, and down the street, that was the empty lots. And because that was my third fix and flip in Cooper Young at the time, and I was like doing great. I saw that lot and I was like, I don't know nothing about new construction, but sounds like a great idea.
Right.
So I went to figure it out.
And just to flavor it for you, because Murilo does business in the same market that I do. Cooper Young is an area where houses were built between 1920 and 1940. So these are not easy flips. These are older houses that require a lot of, just a lot of complexity more than a 1950s ranch style house.
Oh yeah.
And so you're doing flips in Cooper Young. You see that empty lot, and you're like, okay, maybe it's new build time.
That's right. And by the way, yes, you're right about Cooper Young. I did a few houses in there at the time, and they were 1896, 1900, and 1900 something. So definitely not a walk in the park to fully renovate one of those. But anyway, so I see the lot. I know nothing about new construction, but I do know Cooper Young is very hot. So I go figure it out at the time, because I've done that quite a few times during my flipping, years. I would drive around, going to a house or going somewhere. You always see that super crappy house that don't belong with the overgrown yard and looking like crap. Mm-hmm. And you just like, well, let me find out who owns this one, because there's always a chance that you can score. So that was basically the same concept, but then the lot turned out was going to be sold at a tax deed sale in a couple months. And I had no idea what that was. What is a tax deed? What is tax sale? So I got down to it. I learned it. I figured out where it was going to be, how it was going to be. It was online. I registered and I bought the lot. So that was great. Bought the lot, worked out. At the time, I had no idea if it was a good or bad investment.
Right.
I paid almost $50,000 for it, but I was like, I think it's going to be great.
Okay.
But turned out, man, it was very great. That 50 grand was totally worth it for that lot at the time. So I was very busy at the moment when I bought that lot. It was 2018. I was going through 4 huge rehabs at the time. We're talking about 4,000 square feet plus homes. That you know how it goes. When you flip a 4,000, 5,000 square foot home, no matter how not necessarily structural or big deal, it's a lot of square footage to make it pretty and perfect.
Right.
So at the time, I bought the lot and I was like, oh, cool, I'm going to build. But I was crazy busy, and I was only able to start building at the fall of 2018, even though I bought the lot almost a year earlier in the fall of 2017. But once we got going, man, that turned out to be a very good project. It was a very, very profitable new construction. It was nice.
And so, one of the things that flippers do is sometimes they don't ever diversify into new construction. So let me ask you, was your profit margin a lot better at the new construction, or how did that shake out compared to your flips in Cooper Young?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Well, you understand that pretty good because you're in the area. At the time, spring of 2019, when I sold that house, I sold it for the highest price that Cooper Young has ever seen. I sold that for today $400,000 doesn't sound that great,
right?
But in you go back 6 years ago, I remember thinking like, holy crap, I just sold this for the highest number of this neighborhood has ever seen. So I was very proud of it, and yes, that profit was in the 6 digits all day long. It was very nice.
Yeah, so those are fun. And new construction, because I've done a couple of new builds, and even though they're more profitable, sometimes you got to get the inventory for the lots.
Yes,
they seem to be a lot easier than take it. For me, it's a shorter, more systematized process than flipping a major house. And you've done some major flips, 4 flips in 4,000 square feet, close to Cooper Young, or wherever the 4,000 square feet are, is right. Tough sledding. I always do this. I don't know if you ever do this. Even though I love this, I love what I do for a living. But when I do a big flip, I always get excited at the beginning, and I'm kind of excited at the a little bit after the beginning, and at the end, I'm just like, why? Get this over with. But you do get the profit at the end. Sometimes they just, folks, you know what you know if you're in this business. Sometimes they just last way too long.
No, for sure. I don't think that there's one real estate investor that has really done it for years and years that don't feel sometimes like, oh my God, why? What am I doing? Like that moment of regret.
Yeah. Yes.
Even though it paid off, even though you made the money, doesn't matter. We all feel the same. Eventually, it's just like fed up because there's so many problems and hurdles, and it's crazy.
And when you got 3 or 4 going on at the same time, and even let's say that you're just doing well and you're okay, your cash flow's okay, and your operating capital's okay, you're still up at night going, I got to do this, and this.
That year was tough. 2018 was actually interesting because it was a year that was very tough. I wrote a book this year. I published a book a couple months ago, and a chapter of my book is about 2018, literally. Yeah. Because 2018, there's these 4 rehabs. Literally, it was worth it. Put it on a book and explaining what went down. It was one of those putting all your eggs in one basket kind of situation. I had a great relationship with general contractors for 4 years. We were kicking ass, but you know how a contractor is. You can give them 30 properties at once. They will never say, oh no, I cannot handle that. They will always say, of course I can handle it. I got it. But then you find out that they don't got it during the process. So that was 2018 there in a very short description.
Yeah. Okay. So Murilo, so that's interesting. So you got into tax deeds. So what is your systems and processes? If you get a little flavor for, how do you do that today? Because are you doing any direct to sell marketing, or is it now I'm just focusing on tax deeds?
Well, I still had some fix and flips all the way to 21, but I've been so busy building this rental portfolio from 0 to 46 in 5 years that I decided, I don't even care about fix and flipping anymore. I don't care about that profit anymore, because what I really enjoy now is my passive income. It really is. people don't get that because I didn't either when I was younger, when I was, years ago. Feels great to make, 50, 70, 100 grand on a flip and just keep doing it. But then you realize, like, this is a job. If I stop doing it, the money stops coming. It really does. So then once you get a real taste of passive income, especially in my situation, buying these tax deed properties with crazy discounts and having a portfolio of properties that my monthly return is close to 3%. It's insane. So I'm actually making some serious money monthly out of an investment that most people are like, are you kidding me? Who gets almost 3% a month? Well, I do. Is it easy? Far from it. But totally worth it. So now that I got this taste of real passive income, of course, passive, 100% passive doesn't exist. But it is passive. I only continue to work because I'm adding more and more and more and more. The day that I say I don't want more, then the work literally stops. You know what I mean? Technically, it does stop. Last year, I was able to travel with my family for 3 entire months and not worry about a thing because the money's coming regardless. You know what I mean? It was only 3 months because my wife had to be back. If it was up to me, it would have been longer. Trust me. It wouldn't have been just 3 months. But so anyway, you asked about the tax deeds, right? So basically, it's a very complex way of doing it in a way, because if you don't do it right, you will get screwed, almost guaranteed.
Right.
But the way I do it, basically, it's like I have participated on every single auction since 2018. So it needs consistency. First of all, consistency is the key. I only invest in one area because that's the area that I am good at. I'm very, very good at it. I know the area in the palm of my hand. I understand the neighborhoods. I understand everything about Memphis, Tennessee, because I've been there for 17 years.
Right. You got time under tension. Yeah.
Exactly. So I don't like to just say, oh, I'm a real estate investor. I'm going to go do this anywhere. Well, sure, but it's not going to be the same at all. At all. You can't compare knowing everybody in town, having 200 phone numbers in your phone for every trade you can imagine, you know what I mean? Then go start from zero somewhere else.
Right.
That is completely bullshit when people say, oh, I flip things out of my couch. I don't even, never been there. I don't know nothing about it. Well, I don't know what kind of flipping you're doing, but unless you're just wholesaling without knowledge of the area, that's going to be very difficult.
Yeah.
But anyway, regarding the tax deeds then. So basically, you have these steps, right? First, you go through a very large list, because when they post the tax sale, you have a very large list of addresses. And then with that, if you don't know the area, first of all, that's your first hurdle, right? If you don't know the area, what do you do with a list of 1,000 addresses? You just one at a time on Google Maps, and then you go figure it out one at a time what that area is, isn't, if it's good, if it's bad. What? Come on, that's going to take you a month. So knowledge of the area, very important. So I go through the list. I figured out every single property based on address, because I really know the addresses and the areas and the neighborhoods.
I can name a street. You know exactly where it is, probably. Yep.
Back in the FedEx days, I would. Now I know I have a close idea. Let's put it that way. So then once you go through, usually in Memphis is pretty crazy, but usually you have 600 to 1,000 parcels that you go through. Then that comes down to usually 100, 150 that, in my opinion, are worth driving to and inspecting. Then I myself physically do it. I don't trust anybody else to do it. It's my money. It's my life anyway. It's full time for me. It doesn't matter. I go to Memphis every month anyway because of the operation. So I go, I spend sometimes, I have spent a whole week in the past. There was an auction back in 2020 that I saw 300 properties. Took me 7 days of driving, but it doesn't matter because that auction, I bought 16 properties at once. Highly discounted properties. So it was a lot of work, yes, but I made hundreds of thousands of dollars because of that one auction that I had to put that much work. So it's worth it, but it's very difficult. So first you go through a bunch of parcels to decide which ones are worth even considering driving to. Then once you drive through all those, about half of them turn out to be just horrible, burned, no longer there. The city has demoed the property you didn't know. So there's a lot of reasons why you have to go look at it in person right before the auction. Because a lot of times on Google Maps, you're like, oh, the house looks cool. It doesn't look too bad. And then you show up there, there's no house because the city condemned it and demoed it and it's not even there. So you think, I'm going to pay 20 grand for that house. And then when you buy it, there's just a vacant lot that is worth $1,000 now. And you're like, oh my God, what did I do? Yeah, you lost 20 grand.
You lost 20
That's
grand.
what you did. And a lot of people do it, man. I know so many people that do it and they don't do it right and they buy the wrong house. I have bought the wrong house about 6-7 times because circumstances, even though I was physically there, there was like a party going on in the front yard and I couldn't really get out of the car and go look around. And sometimes there's people hanging out, so you can't just, hey, excuse me, I got to go to the back and take a look. No, you don't do that, especially in those neighborhoods. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
I don't want to get shot and murdered. So sometimes I am a little limited, even though I'm there physically. And that happened to me about 6-7 times. You buy the house, you truly believe that looks good, but then turns out the back is gone. The roof is completely caved in and the whole back wall is gone. It's just a mess. And I say, okay. But because I always bought them for so little, I was always able to say, okay, no problem. I'm going to pass to the next guy. Because to me, that wasn't worth it. But to other person, that's still worth it. So every single one that I made a mistake, I was still able to sell to the next guy and make a few grand, and now get rid of it and not lose any money. But it's very, very easy to lose money if you don't put the right amount of effort, which is, like I'm saying, go through a bunch of properties, drive through a bunch of properties, then come back and go. You got to go filtering from 1,000, and then at the end of all the filtering, you got about 50 that are really, truly worth trying to buy. And if out of that 50, you buy half a dozen, you had a great result. That's just
right.
And a lot of people don't want to do that.
No,
that's
they
the
don't.
problem. They don't want to put an effort first and
Right.
hope for the outcome after. That's old school. Let's put it that way.
And every county, especially Major Measure, does something like this. And Shelby County does it once a year. Is that what they? Yeah, once or twice.
It's actually, it really depends, but on average, it's about 3 times a year.
3 times a year.
Yeah, Shelby County has plenty of property, so they gotta do it more than once.
They do. So what's interesting too is that you're doing this all from not Tennessee. You're in California, and so you don't even have a 901 phone number. You don't have an address here other than your addresses that you own. But you live and do this full time out of state, and so which is a great thing to drop on people is that one of the things that you did is you focused. You were on Jackson, Mississippi. Then you got wind of Memphis, and then you put your focus in Memphis, and you had a lot of time to understand how this market works. And what's interesting too, because I find it hard to do fix and flips, and I live here, so you were doing this,
I know,
on Pacific time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
But it was all about you had good relationships with your contractors, you had high trust. And you guys were able to put a plan together and execute.
No, for sure, man. It has not been an easy road. Let's put it that way. Far from it, but it's been worth it. It's been definitely worth it. It changed my life. It really, really, truly changed my life. From delivering boxes till now, it's been an interesting 17 years. Let's put it that way.
Yes, sir. So Murilo, what does life look like? So you mentioned you had a wife and kids. What does family life look like for you there in California?
Well, we can't complain, man. We're here about 15 minutes from the ocean. Because, to live very close to the ocean, you better make some serious money. You know what I mean? But we're here about 15 minutes. It's very cool. I've been here the whole time, 22 years now since I got here. And we don't have kids yet, but it's just my wife and I.
Yeah.
But we have a blast, man. We love traveling the world. We surf, we hike. We like to do mountain biking. So very, very active people. Because to me, remember my background is basically physical education. I used to be a personal trainer. So money's great. But to have all the money in the world, but be completely out of shape, feel like crap, no, that doesn't work for me. I take my health on top of money any day. Because without health, you cannot go get money, right?
Yeah, 80-year-old billionaires will trade with you in a heartbeat.
That's right. If money was everything, rich people wouldn't die. But they still do, and they have very miserable lives sometimes.
Yeah. So, Murilo, where can people find out more about you? Where are you out on social media? What does that look like if somebody wanted to contact you?
Well, the best way to really check out what I do and what I've done, go to my website, because I'm not going to lie, I'm not very big on social media, even though I have enough experience to have millions of followers. I was busy doing what I did and changing my life, I guess you cannot blame people, man. It is not that easy to just be on social media posting and posting and posting. It's just not for everybody,
right?
And it just wasn't for me. Only in 2025 I decided that, okay, after so many people basically asking me, almost begging me to do something because they know who I am and what I've done, I wrote a book. I published the book. The book has been published now on Amazon for a couple months. It's getting some really good reviews.
What's the book called?
The book's called Change Your Life Through Real Estate Investing. I can show you. I have a copy here.
I like it.
I don't know if you can see good,
yeah.
but
well, I can see that. Yes, sir. And we can put that in the show notes
as
well.
Yeah, we'll put a link as well. It's on Amazon. But my website is basically www.muriloperez.com.
Okay.
And that's where I kind of try to make up for all the years that I could have been just posting everything I've done. I built a nice website and I put a lot of the information there. But I promise, this is a new year for me. I will start social media and I will start sharing a lot of this knowledge that I have, because it is a lot of knowledge, man. It's unlike a lot of people out there that pretend, to have all this knowledge just to sell stuff. I've been doing this for 17 years, 15 years full time now, and it has really, really changed my life. So I'm very grateful to that.
Yeah, it's a great story, and you are what they call not a guru, but a duru.
The duru. That's right.
Duru. Yeah, so
Definitely
there are a lot of guys out there that are really good or slick on social media. They sound great.
That's right.
But they don't have the pedigree, and man, it's always great to have somebody on here that's not pitching something, but say, hey, here's what I've done. And obviously, you've pivoted and you've narrowed your focus, and a lot of people don't do this. They try to just spread a net wide. What you did is you tried a lot of things and you narrowed your focus, and now you're at this moment where you can take 3 months vacation if you want to. And that's a great story. So Murilo, thank you for sharing that on the Real Estate Pros podcast. Folks, for more information about him, it'll be in the show notes below. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you very much, Michael.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.